The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the hosts and their guests, and may or may not be shared with the staff and management of this network.
Ghostly Talk!
Broadcasting from the world-famous Haunted Winery here in Warren, Michigan. This is Ghostly Talk on July 26, 2009.
Ghostly Talk is just... Sorry.
You're going to do it? All right, go ahead.
I'm not. I got a banana on my mouth.
Let me finish it.
Okay, go ahead.
Ghostly Talk is independently produced every Sunday night from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time to converse about all things paranormal. For more info, hit up our website at www.ghostlytalk.com. Tonight, Stacy Horn joins us to tell us about her research into unbelievable investigations into ghosts, poltergeists, telepathy, and other unseen phenomena from the Duke's Parapsychology Laboratory.
The title for that, the hell of a title for a book.
I'm done. No, and then later, Heidi Hollis returns to Ghostly Talk to tell us about picture prayers.
I don't know what to say.
I'm waiting for the fade.
It's great. If you were here in the studio, you'd be cracking up right now because we're just kind of staring at each other like with this just back and forth, like volleying look between. Is it you going to lead off? You going to lead off? You going to lead off? So I guess I let off this time. Next week it'll be your turn to lead off.
Yay. You know, nothing gets my blood pumping like Alien Excess. And,
cool band. We've talked about them before, and they're a fantastic band who's been nice enough to let us use their music for our show here.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's another one of those days.
Something about All Right, which is that little.
That's the name of the song. All right, yeah.
Wow, it just pumps me up. I am pumped up. Yeah, that's me.
And I'm gonna keep. Speaking of pumping up, I got banana somehow on my. Jesus. So I'm gonna try to stay pumped up here tonight. After I guess we'll kind of do our weekend recap here with Doug and Scott L. You'll understand why I feel and sound the way I probably do right now. But how was your weekend, Doug?
My weekend was fantastic. Yesterday I went to Windsor, Ontario, and I went to like a wedding reception kind of thing.
Really?
And it happened actually several weeks after the actual marriage happened.
Oh, really?
Because of availability of parents and things like that. Not my parents, but the bride and groom's parents. So,
yeah.
So their reception weekend was this weekend, and it's a dual reception weekend in that I went to the one in Windsor, even though I'm from the U.S., and the U.S. reception is today.
Oh, wow.
Because, some people don't have passports, that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
So they ended up having a dual reception weekend where, Saturday was the Windsor-oriented reception, and then today was the U.S. downriver-oriented reception.
Yeah.
But I went to the Windsor one, not the U.S. one. It's really freaky. But
it
all worked out, and I have to say, congratulations, Elena and Kenny.
Fantastic.
So,
Congratulations
there
to you guys. Did you get loaded? You party?
No, because I was crossing the border. So
it's the best time to get loaded. When we were 19 years old, that's all we used to do.
But I ended up by, eating like a cow. And it was at the Chacharo Club or something like that in Windsor. And, well, just outside of Windsor, actually. And it was just incredible. What a wonderful place. What wonderful food. And Elena and Kenny's families that were there, the ones... Kenny's family with passports and Elena's family, it was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Had a great time, and then I had to bring Kenny across with me and drop him off last night, the groom, and drop him off at his dad's downriver so that they could continue the partying today. So I'm sure that all worked out. And then Elena was going to go down there today. But yeah, what an interesting mix of wedding plans them two had. But it was fantastic, and I got to spend the day with Mateo, so that worked out really well.
Good. Yeah. It's this weekend for me. Or I'm sorry, are you set?
I'm done.
You're done?
That was my weekend. Cause
today
I didn't do anything.
You took about 6 minutes, and I'll take the other 52 now. So we started on 6:02.
Yeah. Oh well, first we do have to mention though that as you may have heard, the vivacious Miss Bonnie.
She is
not
here.
in the studio.
What is she doing?
She's actually probably flying home right now as we speak.
And as you know, on any airline, Ghostly Talk is pumped through the speakers there at all times.
Well,
so
it is.
She's probably listening to the show along with the thousands of other millions, trillions
of other passengers.
We have so many listeners. There's people up the planet that listen to us.
Yeah,
it's pumped into the space shuttle. BS.
Every
but anyways,
yeah.
She's on a plane right now, probably coming home.
Yeah, and because she had a girls' weekend out kind of thing, she went down to Indianapolis to visit the ever-lovely Stacy K and the brand-new addition to the Ghost Man's family, Addie.
Yes. And again, congratulations to Sean. Our illustrious Sean, who we've known for so many years here. I'm being a new daddy again. Totally cool about that.
And a completely different experience for him, too, because this one's a girl.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, it's a completely different experience.
It's all over for Sean. Forget it. First rule of having a daughter, don't let her out of the house till she's 30.
Rule number 1.
That's why I'll never be a parent, I don't think. And that goes for the son, too, I think. 28 for the son.
Yeah.
But 30 definitely for the daughter. We had a girls' weekend out last weekend.
Yes, I heard. It was...
When you put the Lambert and Hammond and then the Kaisers together
in the same city.
Yeah, Andy and Tanya Kaiser, dear friends of ours. You guys know them. We love them just like we do. Experimental Productions. They drove all the way out to hang out with us over in Amber's side of town last weekend. And basically, it was just I don't know where to start, but poor Tanya, she's in the chat room right now, and her stomach is still bruised from the trip. Now I'll explain to you why. I know we didn't get into a bar fight or anything like that, though it could have very well happened. But we went to a place called Michigan's Adventure. My brain is just not firing. It's just I'm trying, but
Michigan's Adventure is it's a theme park kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a theme
amusement park.
Yeah, that was the big part. I mean, Annie and Tiny came out, and Amber was in all of her glory because she was just Miss Tour Guide all weekend. Which was just killing me because she's just showing. We had to show them the musical fountain. I think you've seen the musical fountain, haven't you?
I don't know.
Maybe. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you have to see the musical fountain. It's hysterical.
I've seen the one in Vegas.
Well, they have the musical fountain in Grand Haven, which is bigger than the one in Vegas, I think.
Oh wow!
From what I understand, I could be wrong. This is the largest musical fountain in the world in Grand Haven, Michigan. And, we had to show them that first, and that had to be the first thing they saw, which we lasted about 10 minutes, and we were laughing too hard. We had to just walk away before we angered everyone else.
They asked you to go. Yeah.
The capacity crowd, we didn't want to get mobbed by them. So
people, you are disturbing the musical fountain.
So we all went to Michigan's Adventure the next day.
No peeing in the musical fountain.
Yeah. Why is the water yellow now? No, it was fun. We walked up here and stuff. But the next day we did go to Michigan's Adventure, and they have a ride there called the Shivering Timbers.
Shiver me timber.
I have a couple different names. I have a couple different names for it that I can't say on the air, but Andy and Tanya know that all too well, and so does Amber. We rode the thing about 40 times, and we rode the Thunderhawk, which is like a dangling coaster.
Yeah.
And this Shivering Timbers one, it's like one of the largest coasters in the world. It's huge. It's like a mile long. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
And it's unreal. It's the worst coaster I've ever ridden. Not bad as it. It's brutal. It beats the piss out of you because it's just up down. It's a wooden coaster, but it feels like it's a steel coaster. Any coaster dorks out there, there's a different feel usually with a wooden coaster between that or a steel coaster. But this is a wooden one, and it feels like a steel coaster. It just abuses you. It throws you all over the place, and I mean, literally, you're crying at the end. I mean, you're in pain. And poor Tanya got bruised up a bit on this thing, and I took a rib shot one time too, and the Thunderhawk is one of those dangling coasters, like I said.
Yeah.
And your feet hang out. And it's one of my favorite coasters. I love this thing. I love going on this coaster. It's so cool. They shipped it over from Europe to put it in this park, Mission Adventure. And it's just one of my favorite coasters. The last time we rode it, though, unfortunately, there's like the guard, the cup thing that you put your legs around. Right?
Yeah.
Just to keep you in the seat, for more support to keep you in the seat. And the way my belt kind of like, I don't know how
lined up with,
the compression with my belt, and my shorts all bunched up there when you sit down, and Junior. Basically, I don't know what happened, but it just crushed it, kind of, to the point where I was screaming out loud things I can't say on the air either. Much to Andy's pleasure, though, he was laughing himself hysterical, because, I mean, I'm in pain. I'm crying.
Yeah.
And he's dying on the other side. And that coaster next to me, he's just cracking up laughing at me. But it just was one of those physics things where you just kind of get it crunched in there the wrong way. And I took a beating. So my voice was much higher this week until I partied all day yesterday. But we're all safe and sound from that. And we hung out in the shop, did all kinds of great stuff. Had a good time with those guys. So thank you, Andy and Tanya, for spending the time, driving all the way out for a weekend to spend with me and Amber. They're our dear friends. They're part of the family. We all know that.
I would have liked to have gone out and been there.
I know you were going to try to be there. Yeah.
However, I had made alternative plans. I was going to go down to Alabama.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see these ghost lights.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
In the air in something or other starts with a C, Alabama. Yeah. Excuse me. So we were going to go down there, but what ended up happening was we geeked out all weekend last weekend.
Yeah.
I bought RAM. That's Random Access Memory.
Mm-hmm.
I bought all kinds of interesting stuff. Built out... or built up some computers, and I experimented with virtualization all weekend.
Mm-hmm. And there's probably about 2 people in our listening audience that either know that or care about it. But for Doug and I, though,
it's geeky.
It's really exciting for
geeky.
us. We love that stuff.
So like Thursday, I'm like, okay, this was Wednesday night. It's like, oh, well, we should get some RAM. So Thursday we go and we get some RAM, and we're like, okay, well, we're not leaving today, obviously, because we want to experiment with this. So we'll leave tomorrow, meaning Friday. This was, 2 Fridays ago.
Yeah.
And then Friday comes along, and we're like, okay, well, now we've spent so much time messing with this.
Yeah.
We can't leave today, so we'll go tomorrow morning. And we put off the trip to Alabama every day until it just didn't happen. But I do want to get down there and see the ghost lights.
Yeah. No, it's something that would be cool to check out.
Yes.
But you were missed. You were definitely missed.
I was geeking out like crazy.
We had a great time. We hung out all weekend. It was totally awesome. So, got to do it again, guys. Let's definitely line that up sometime and do it again. The rendezvous. I think the next trip we're talking about doing is somewhere kind of in between, like middle ground, so we don't have to drive so far either one of us. Definitely gonna make that happen though. Got to give an update on my dad.
Oh, yeah.
He had his surgery this week.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't here last weekend, so you guys didn't get to hear. He went and had his arm looked at after they casted him up, and they said, yeah, it's not healing right. We need to operate. So this past Wednesday, we went over to the hospital and had to be there at 7 a.m.
Oh, not fun.
And people out there, I'm sure you can relate to this. When you got to be up at some ungodly hour, you normally are never even. When you're normally just dead, like you're in that really good sleep finally, and then the alarm goes off. For me, when I have to be up that early, I can't sleep I can't sleep.
Right.
What I'm afraid of is even with an alarm, I'm afraid that I'm going to sleep through the alarm and be late, right? So I end up just up and down all night long and sleep for a couple hours, and that's it. So I was obviously on time, but, yeah, just totally fried by the time we got there, even at that early in the game. And basically, they took care of him. They took him in, and they did the work and stuff like that. And the doctor came out about 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 11 o'clock, count it, 11 o'clock in the morning, about 11:15 actually, and showed us the cool little X-ray of his arm now, and what it looked, the metal piece that's in there to put everything back together. And I don't know if they're going to have to operate again. Because Mary, our old boss, Doug, she showed last year when she had her elbow work.
Yeah.
She had the sling. She actually brought her brace they took out of her after she healed up. I don't know if you saw it, but she showed it to me, and I was like, oh, cool. And I was looking at it. So I don't know if they're going to have to go and operate again to take the piece out when he heals up completely. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But we basically were there, in a nutshell, we were there till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
Because we got out, and I'll keep all my personal opinions to the side here on this one, but, he got out and was in post-op, and we walked in there to see him. They're like, yeah, you can take him home. He's cool. And he was just like, yeah, hey, guys, and he was just falling off, I'm like, he's pretty messed up, man. And they're like, yeah, and there was just some back and forthing with the nurses and the doctors and stuff like that, to the point where they're like, well, you can take him home if you want. I'm like, I'm not taking, no, he's out of it. What if he has to come back here now? I'm not comfortable with this. And it was just one of those, arguing back and forth until finally the doctor came in and said, yeah, you know what, we're going to keep him overnight because he's had a lot of anesthetic put in him. Mm-hmm. He should just stay here. He can be monitored, and then you can come get him in the morning. So sure, we were like, thank God we need it, because the air in this particular hospital I'm talking about, it's in a city that starts with an R and an O, and it's the first letter of the hospital itself starts with a B, and for some reason we've been there twice in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what it is that they put just a very fine sawdust in the air at all times, along with it being completely freezing cold everywhere in the hospital. I like it cool, but I need a little moisture there too so I can breathe, right? That's kind of what most people need, because that's what our noses do. They're humidifiers, basically. And I don't know what it is that they do, but if you spend a couple hours at this hospital, your nose is so dried out. You got blood crust coming out of your nose. It's so bad. So by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we're just like, look, we love this guy, but we need to get the hell out of here. What are we going to do? And they're like, yeah, we're going to keep him overnight. So we're out. Like, okay, fine, we're out. So went and got him Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Well, we took off about 8 a.m. and he's good now. And he's feeling better and better.
That's awesome.
He was kind of messed up for the first couple of days, like Thursday and Friday, because the drugs were still in his system and it takes time to filter it out. My mom said he's doing a lot better, and he's actually using his hand a little bit now.
Oh, neat.
They said he needs to keep using his fingers.
Yeah.
Because he's casted up now again, but he's got to keep moving the fingers because they want him just to keep him from getting too weak while he heals.
Right.
So he's using his fingers, and he's doing better, and he's much more alert now that he's not stoned out of his mind. And so it's a good thing outcome, and he's looking good. So thanks for the emails, everybody who sent stuff over saying, wishing their thank you, or their thoughts and stuff like that. I really appreciate it, and my dad appreciates it too. Can I mention this thing about this weekend?
What weekend?
Well, the hookers and the blow. I'm kidding.
The hookers
no.
No. Go ahead.
Interesting, Doug kind of talked about his weekend, and I got to mention what happened to me this weekend. My best buddy Pete, and a lot of people who know me know my buddy Pete. He's known the guy over 23, 24 years now almost, and we grew up together. And one of the things that I used to do when I was a kid is we used to have BMX bikes, like a lot of kids did.
Right.
But we kind of took it to the next level and spent a lot more money on it, broke a lot more bones, and hence the reason, which is a little known fact about me, is the reason I do wear a goat or a beard. You always see a big thick thing, not too ridiculous, but I always keep hair on my chin because I have a massive scar on my chin from when I did a face plant off a quarter pipe when I was like 14 years old.
I have a massive scar on my chin too.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason I've always worn a beard.
But it's not from BMXing.
No, I went face first into. It was that gross thing where you felt your face scraping on the ground.
Yeah. Oh.
The worst thing ever. The worst pain I've ever been in. Because when you do that, it's like you don't feel it because you're in shock. And I remember I was telling somebody at this thing we were at yesterday about that. And I'm like, yeah, I had one of I'm like, yeah, here's how I date myself. I had one of them screen shirts. Remember those screen shirts?
Yeah.
And I had a yellow screen shirt, and it was just covered in blue. It was red. It was just gross,
man.
dude. And I wasn't really in pain at the time, but then, like, when the shock wore off, that's when the pain kicked in. And I remember I was just, like, up all night long crying. I was in so much pain. But that's what we used to do. We used to ride ramps and try to do all the tricks and stuff. And we went, luckily our parents were enough to throw money at some higher end bikes for us and stuff like that. And, it was a cool thing. You get older, you kind of move on, go to college and stuff like that. And, well, Pete, my buddy Pete, he's got a real penchant for the nostalgic. He's a very nostalgic person. He always likes talking about the good old days, and sometimes it gets on my nerves sometimes. But generally, it's a lot of fun to talk about some of the goofy crap we went through when we were younger. Like everybody did. It's always fun to talk about that. So he's, as of late, gotten back into BMXing.
Wow.
Which he's not he's in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
Unlike me, even with 50 pounds off me as of this time, I still am a heavy guy, and I'm still working on getting more weight off. Right. So riding a bicycle, riding a bicycle, especially one that's like way too small for me now. Right. It's like the last thing I could think about doing. Right. A big mountain bike's a different story. That'd be kind of cool. But even with my hernia, I can't do that now either. So it's like, I'm screwed all the way around. So, basically, he started getting into this thing, and for the last 3 months, he's been, hey, there's this big BMX rally going on at Stony Creek, which is a metro park here, around the area. Right. And
up at 26 miles.
Yeah, it's up the road from us here. And he's like, yeah, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm like, well, Pete, I got all this crap going on, and I might be out with Amber, and I don't know what's going on. And basically, he just kept hounding me about it, and then last weekend he called me about it, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure what's going on, and this and that and all this stuff. And what was it? Long story short, I finally.
Too late.
It just yes.
Just kidding.
Funny guy. It's hard. I'm usually much quicker than this, but I'm just like. Basically, he's like, I really want you to be here, and so I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? I'll just work it out. So I did. I worked it out, and I stayed here for this, and I found out why on Saturday. Yeah. We got there yesterday morning with the coolers full of wine and beer and all that fun stuff, because you're not going to go to a picnic without that stuff. I made a nice fresh taco salad for everybody, and then Leo,
and a Jello mold.
Yeah, Jello. No, our other buddy Leo actually brought brats for us, so it was a cool. It was a nice cookout, so it was cool. And I was just going to come there and hang out, because this was like a BMX rally for all like classic BMX bikes, freestyling BMX bikes. I had a GT Performer. If anybody out there knows what bikes are from back in the day, I had a 87 GT Performer, baby blue, with white mags. There you go. That's what you get. You look it up, you'll see it. So I was just coming there to hang out, and just look at bikes or whatever, and just mainly to see all the guys, because I don't get to see all my old friends a lot anymore. So it was kind of more visit and hang out. So perfectly cool with that. So. We get there, and I meet up with the guys, and Don, our other buddy we grew up with, he pulls up in his truck, and he's got a bed full of bikes, basically, all the guys' bikes, because Pete's been rebuilding all his old stuff and finding new stuff. And these guys are junkies. It's like building cars. It's the same thing. Right. They're trading parts and all this crap, and it's just like anything else. These guys are out there, and there's eBay all day long, fighting over stuff. So there's a lot of junkies out there. It's amazing, and I learned a lot too from this thing. So one of the bikes, though, on the trailer, I look, and that bike looks very familiar. And I'm like, baby blue, white mags, GT. And Pete's like, yeah, does that look familiar to you? I'm like, yeah, it does. He's like, then they pull it off, and it's my bike.
Oh, they stole your bike.
They didn't steal my bike.
Oh.
My bike.
Now you know what happened to it all those years ago.
Well, no. Well, let me explain further because I'm like, where'd it go? I found it now. No, what happened is after I got, you lose interest in stuff. My dad ended up just kind of taking it apart and putting it up in the attic.
Oh, okay.
Well, Pete went over there and went into the attic, pulled it down and rebuilt the whole thing and fixed it all up for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and he's like, I couldn't let you come here and not have. And I'm not even going to get into the story of why this bike's named the name it is, but my bike was called Becky. We named my bike Becky. He's like, I could not let you come here and hang out without Becky being here with us. So I'm like, all right. And he put a sign that said, "Hi, my name's Becky."
Aww.
Yeah, real sweet. Thanks, Pete.
Except for I don't know what it was like. I'm going to take Becky out for a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the different innuendos that could be done with that.
Yeah.
Is really bad.
Well, there you go. But anyways, so it was just amazing. I was like, oh my God, I'm totally blown away. This is insane. I can't believe this. So it was really cool. It was really, really awesome. And we just, these guys are showing up with, the special stands to stand the bikes up on so it doesn't touch the ground and all this.
Wow.
Kind of thing. And we're like, we're just like, Pete's cracking his first beer. I'm uncorking the wine bottles and stuff. And we're like, oh, we need stands. Okay. Well, here, start emptying some beer cans out, guys. We just put them on the pedals and stood them up with those things in the grass. It was great. So, it got real ghetto for a few minutes there, but we were like, yeah, these guys were coming by. He's like, that's a pretty good idea. I spent like $10 on that stand. I should have just horked down a Coors Light and been done. So, no, we spent the whole day there. It was totally great. I mean, got to talk to a lot of guys and just reminisce about, all the bones we broke or all the stupid crap we did back in the day. And it was a lot of fun. And now I got the juice for it now too, because now we're talking about this bike out. You just saw the bike; it's here at the winery now. And my plan was, I was like, well, I'm gonna, guys, I really appreciate this bike because the bike's beat up. Mm-hmm. It took a lot of beatings over the years. And I'm like, I should take this bike and take it down to the frame and repaint the whole thing and redo all this stuff and make it new again. And a lot of these guys were like, no, that's a Survivor. You don't do that to a Survivor.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, this bike's all original. Everything on this bike is mint, and it's 22 years old. They're like, you don't take anything off this bike. Maybe change the handle grips or something like that, but the hardware, it's all original. Just leave it the way it is. It's a vintage bike. It's cool, man. So I'm like, well, okay. So I'm going to buy another bike now. And I can't even ride. That's the irony. I can't even ride a bike right now. I can't.
Right.
I can't. It's just I'm not allowed to do it. But I got the itch now just to build something, and so I'm gonna we have some plans to build another bicycle of mine just to have it, I guess, and then someday when I get all my health stuff taken care of, I might be able to hop on it again and ride it someday.
Speaking of bikes, there's this new hobby with the youth of Amsterdam.
Really, what is it?
I don't know why bikes remind me of smart cars, but anyway, they what they do is they find a parked smart car near a canal.
Yeah.
And they pick it up and they throw it in the canal. It doesn't make any sense why that equals...
The only person that doesn't think that's funny is the owner of the smart car.
Well, that's true. But I saw a picture of the smart car, and I thought, that looks like a bicycle with like a shell around it is all it looks like. I'm like, it's so tiny. Mm-hmm. And so personal transport.
So what's the name of this?
There's not. I don't think there's a name.
It's that light. You can just pick it up and throw it into a canal.
Yeah. Well, it's probably them and a couple of friends, and then they just pick it up and they toss it. Like they've got guardrails around the canal, so that you don't just drive into it, right? But a smart car is so light that they just pick it up and they toss it in the canal.
Oh my God!
And then the police come knocking at your door. Yeah, your car was floating in the canal. Go get it. I mean, it.
Oh my God, man! Well.
It's wacky, but I guess for personal transport, it's better to have a bicycle now, because otherwise they might pick it up and throw it in the canal.
Apparently.
If you happen to be driving around in Amsterdam.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to Amsterdam anytime soon.
No, me either. Although the chocolates, because remember, you talked about Andy and Tanya Andy and Tanya Kaiser, they had gone to Amsterdam that one time. They brought back these, fine European chocolates that were, I don't know. They were probably
called sin.
Yeah, the last wish of a dying man would be for these chocolates. For these chocolates because they were just divine.
Yeah.
little candies that they have.
Smart car drivers beware.
Yes.
Amsterdam, be careful. Don't chain your smart car up much like a bicycle because you don't
Right.
want to see it. Just see it hanging off.
You're gonna have to
dangling off the bridge. Oh my God, it's just hilarious.
You're gonna like you know how like they sell those things for computers. You can lock your computer to your desk because if you have a laptop or something, someone can just pick it up and take it.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do that with smart cars, and same thing with bicycles.
Like a cable,
like they chain
little cable.
Yeah,
thing,
they'll be
cable
like
to something.
Wow, or maybe they'll attach like Finder chips or whatever, so that they can go on whereismysmartcar.com, and then you can track it like wherever it's floating. That's
it was bound to happen for a car that ugly. I admire all the technology and what they're trying to do with it, but it's an ugly ass car, man.
From what I understand, and I haven't looked up the statistics, but they don't get that great of gas.
No, they don't. It's a small motor in a small car.
Right. And that's all it is.
It's averaging. What I read, and I could be wrong, is it averages 35 miles to the gallon with the little motor that's in that thing, which is what my car gets.
Right. So I don't understand why you wouldn't get a decent sedan that's not going to
that has a back seat in it, in a trunk.
A back seat in a trunk and something. I mean, how can it be so inefficient yet be so tiny? And I don't get it.
But it's a smart car, though.
Well, the only thing smart about it is the name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Smart car. You buy that car and you're smart all of a sudden. Speaking of smart, I think the smart thing to do right now is take a break.
All right, let's do that smartly.
We're just spiraling down right now.
Yes,
and I need more water and all that good stuff. We'll be right back after this.
All right, listen up, everybody. I'm Dee Snyder from Twisted Sister. Yeah, you know me from Strangeland and the House of Hair and TV and Stardust on Screen. And you're listening to Ghostly Talk. Know that.
The Darker Side of the Moon is an alternative talk variety show. DarkerSideRadio.com. Since 2006, host Becky Ray and Laura Moon speak with independent filmmakers, authors, musicians, artists, and many, many more. DarkerSideRadio.com. Sometimes serious, mostly fun, the show has a little for everyone. DarkerSideRadio.com. Was it odd, freaky, and you didn't hear it on the 5 o'clock news? Then we'll probably cover it here. DarkerSideRadio.com. Darker Side currently airs live Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 7 p.m. Central and 5 p.m. Pacific. DarkerSideRadio.com. If you happen to miss it, you can listen to show archives at any time online at DarkerSideRadio.com, or you may subscribe to the show on iTunes. DarkerSideRadio.com.
Hi, this is Luke, and this is Tobin from Quest Research. Hey, Tobin, what do you get when four guys with absolutely no video experience whatsoever decide to produce their own online paranormal TV show?
I don't know. What? Oh, wait. I do know. Ghost Diaries, right?
That's right.
You can check us out and get involved at www.questresearch.net. And the good thing about being new is that we will only get better.
we made of? Why do I get sick? How can I live a more balanced and whole life? These are just a few of the questions explored each week by naturopath, medical intuitive, and clairvoyant Dr. Rita Louise on Just Energy Radio. Explore your possibilities every Friday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join us at justenergyradio.com.
This is Ghostly Talk.
I was reading on the guest coming up in half an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, right up my alley.
Oh, this is sick. I know. We'll let. Yeah.
Right up my alley.
Screw it.
Don't worry about it.
I know. I gotta fix that fade. I don't like it. It just goes and dies on me, and I don't like that. I have to fix that. We maintain a certain quality standard on this show. Damn it!
And we'll need a quart of WD-40 for that.
We'll fix it. No, yeah. So, anyways, we talked about the bike thing, and that was a good time, like I said after. But the thing is we sat and talked all day long. Which was great. No, I was having, and then Pete's like, "Hey, dude, there's a luge party going on when we get back, man." I'm like,
"What's a luge party?"
A luge party is.
Luge is a sport where you get in a
luge
right?
party is when you take a big block of ice, right?
Yeah.
And you cut channels through it.
Okay.
And then one person stands on. You put it on a slope, like a slant.
It's like Plinko with people.
Wait. You put it on a slant.
Yeah.
Like the people, like Tia, the people's houses we were at last night. They actually built this whole, built a stand for this whole thing.
Yeah.
And a person can step up on the ladder that has a big thing of nothing but booze, alcohol, anything kind of alcohol you can think of, right?
Right.
And then the person stands on the ground where it slants down towards, and they put their mouth against the bottom of the luge, right? And they dump alcohol down the thing.
Oh.
And then you just drink, right? And it's supposed to be fun.
It sounds like torture to me.
Yeah, well, hey,
I mean, unless it was Indiana wine that you're pouring down there, I just don't see why.
That's an idea. Now, you see, the wine, okay, they were doing straight up grain alcohol going down.
Right.
I tried a couple and we got a good laugh. It was funny. But yeah, I feel like you got some good that Redwood Creek stuff that I get from the grocery store.
Yeah.
I'd be 15 minutes. You see X's over my eyes.
Did you ever try the Indiana wine?
No, I never tried the Indiana
wine. The Sweet
wine.
Ab Ultra? I'm going to have to get a case or something because you need to try it. I don't know. I'm addicted to it.
Well, what happened there?
You have to have an intervention on me. I only get it twice a year.
Doug, we love you very much, and we care about you.
Yes.
And
I'll get better on my own.
No, you need it. The gift we're giving you. We're giving you this gift.
What about my job and my kids?
You screwed that up already.
No,
You're worried about them now? You've been drunk for the last 4 months.
They always go something like, nope, everything is taken care of. Your entire job right now is to get on that plane and go.
Well,
I love that show.
Thankfully, we didn't get wasted. I actually stayed pretty. I was fine.
How do you make a huge sheet of ice?
They just buy the big block of ice and then they just cut it themselves.
Oh.
But my thing
a big block of ice?
I don't know. I Google it. I have no idea. I'm sure there's 14 ice block fan sites out there that you can go check out. So, but no. My trick's been lately is we go to these, every once in a while we go to a party and we go to these things and I bring this trusty bottle that's sitting here with me.
Right, of water. Yeah.
And I bring my bottle, we bring our bottle of wine, so I have a glass of wine, then I have a glass of water, glass of wine, glass of water, and it just keeps me totally sober. I'm totally fine, so I'm good. But again, we sat there and I met some other young lady who's done radio before, so you know where that conversation went, and then it got into the paranormal, and there's some It just got trippy for a while. We just started getting into some really wild stuff. But you know me when I start going.
Yes.
I just don't care about getting throwing my voice out. And then I deal with it the next day, and that's what I'm doing right now. So that's
Right.
why I sound the way I sound right now. And I mean, this happens like every other week nowadays. It seems like we're getting out. I guess we're getting out a lot more because.
Well, that's good.
I guess so, but my performance is not as good as it should be. So no, it was a cool weekend. We had a really good time, and it was good to hang out with all the guys and all that stuff. And my bike's sitting right outside the studio.
I got to see it
out there. Yeah, I got to see it, and like, it's pretty cool. That was kind of what we had going on here.
I wonder if I should buy a bike. I mean, I could do it. I don't have any physical...
You could physically buy a bike, but what are you going to do with it afterwards?
Well, I can physically buy a bike, and I can also physically operate the bike because I've got no doctor restriction, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm I've got that going for me, but would I? That's the problem.
Well, you got to get motivated. I mean, the exercise thing I'm doing right now. I mean, today.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, even though I was not like loaded or anything like that, I did eat like a couple of bratwursts and some nachos and stuff like that. So Daddy got up this morning and did another 7-mile walk.
Yeah.
Just to get it off, get it off me and stuff.
Do you know?
You got to get motivated to do that though. It's hard.
Yesterday at the wedding reception thing, I like the buffet style where you can go up to the area and just select out what you want.
Yeah.
That I like so much better but they had it family style where they brought plates of junk to the table.
Oh, that's always lame.
And then you have to pass it around, right?
That's stupid. I hate that.
And I don't like that at all because first of all, you're going to end up touching something that you don't eat. I don't eat mushrooms. I just do not eat. If they're on a pizza or something and that's all I can have. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll flick them off.
God, this pizza sounds good right now. Go ahead.
But I other than that, I just would not eat mushrooms. It's not my choice, right?
Yeah.
And yet, they passed around a plate of mushrooms. But anyway, everything else was fantastic. But you end up like holding something that you just never would associate with, no matter
what. Yeah, you would be caught dead with it.
But there was this fellow there. And they were teasing him, not teasing him, but they were commenting all night long about how ripped he is. And they don't mean drunk, although he was pretty, tipsy. They meant that he was in really perfect physical condition because evidently he's in those contests.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's muscle contests.
Yeah, but he's not built like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the World Man competition or Mr. Universe or whatever he was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like super muscle kind of thing. Although he was just like a perfect physical specimen in that regime or in that regard. But they were saying, oh, you should be wandering around with your shirt off because you're ripped, and stuff like that because evidently he was in these competitions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had to eat, evidently. Now, he did indeed, and he said he wasn't supposed to, but he did have a scoop of mustacholi, right?
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much the rest of the stuff that he ate was meat and vegetables, and he ate a lot of meat. He even
He's bodybuilder. That's what they do.
Yeah, he told the lady, he says, out of all this meat, and there was all kinds of delicious meat. There was this, I don't know, sheep or something. And there was all this different meat, right? But his favorite ended up being... yeah.
Try the cat. It's great.
There was Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, they had it all.
But tough, but
had they braised it. But anyway, so what happened was his favorite out of all that was chicken legs, right?
Okay.
Out of all that food, I mean, there was like a ton
pile
of food.
Of food, yeah.
His favorite was chicken legs. So he asked the waitress lady, she goes, did you guys want more chicken? Because it was gone immediately, right? And he says, yes, and I want it all to be legs because I'm really addicted to chicken legs. So she went away. She brought back a heaping plate of chicken legs, and he ate them. Literally, when he was done, there was chicken leg bones, just
that's bodybuilding. That's bodybuilding. Yeah. You're trying to gain weight to turn it into muscle, essentially. I remember really quick. I remember years ago when I was working midnights.
Yeah.
I used to go to my diner for lunch or whatever you want to call it when you're working midnights.
Right.
And this guy walked in there one night and he was ripped. He was built, really, really good shape. And he goes to the waitress and he's like, yeah. And the waitress, we all knew each other, and she knew the waitress. And he's like, Joy, I need, yeah. She's like, you want your usual? He said, yeah. Give me about 3 pieces of lettuce and about 4 strips of bacon.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, get him extra greasy. Get it as greasy. I want all the grease. Just dump the grease on there. I don't care. And I'm like, ew. And I'm like, what's that all about? He's like, and I can't remember all the things. He's like, basically, when you take bacon and bacon grease and fat and you mix it with lettuce, it burns a lot. It makes the lettuce burn a lot quicker. Hence, you can build more. I don't know, but I mean,
right? Yeah,
basically, he was doing some crazy stuff, and he's like, all you have to. And his line was he's like, it's the human body. You just have to know what to put in to make it work right. I'm like,
wow,
pretty profound. Okay, cool. But no, that's what bodybuilding. Those guys eat. That's what you do. You eat like a horse, essentially.
Yeah.
Because you're working out all the time. And your metabolism's just like flying. I wish mine was. And you got to keep fed. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, he definitely was doing that. I think he had just finished competitions or something, so he was able to be a little more lax. But not forever. Because evidently for the past year he's been eating a dozen eggs a day.
Oh my God.
And other things, like chicken and all that other stuff. But evidently it's very high protein and he was just absolutely trying to work out like crazy, I guess.
Speaking of stuffing yourself, we have to do the weekly article review by Doug here.
I love article reviews.
We got a couple minutes here.
I
want to get into doing more articles, but there was just so much cool stuff to talk about.
Well, yeah.
But I got to do the art, and I think. No, you can't see it. You can't see it. I got a few here, and we only got a few minutes before we go to break here and get Stacy on the line. But I every week, as you guys know, we're changing the format up a little bit here, and
an article.
Well, that's kind of what it's turned into. But I want to start doing more news articles.
I would like to find an article that
you
I
like.
Can say, this was well written.
Well, here's one for you.
Very interesting.
And there's been a couple articles on this, and I think this is great, and I'm all about it. Here's the heading. It's from our friends at telegraph.co.uk, Telegraph News. Swearing can reduce the feeling of pain. It might be socially unacceptable, but an outburst of swearing after a do-it-yourself mishap or stubbing a toe can actually do some good. And this article is by Richard Gray, a science correspondent for the Telegraph. Mm-hmm. Scientists have discovered that uttering swear words can help to lessen the feeling of physical pain. The study by researchers at Keele University found that volunteers were able to withstand pain for longer when they swore compared to when they used words which were not offensive. Dr. Richard Stevens, who conducted the study at the University School of Psychology, believes it may explain why swearing is still commonplace in languages around the world. And yeah, every language there's always curse words. He suggests that swearing could have evolved as a way of raising aggression levels and reducing the feeling of pain to allow our ancestors to flee or fight back when attacked by predators. He said, you hear that sound? You guys hear that sound there? He said, we think it could be part. I'm waiting for him just to pounce on me like a hungry lion here. He said, we think it could be part of the fight or flight response. In the volunteers who swore, we also found that they had elevated heart rate, so it could be increasing their aggression levels. Increased aggression levels has been shown to reduce people's sensitivity to pain, so it could be swearing is helping this process. The researchers whose findings are published in the journal Neuro Report tested 64 students' tolerance to pain by asking them to submerge their hand in a tub of ice water for as long as they could while repeating a series of swear words of their choice. So there's the experiment. I'm not going to go any further. Okay, Doug, let's hear your synopsis of this article.
All right, I do see where swearing can increase your tolerance to pain, or at least I think what it does more to the point is it diverts your attention. Maybe it helps release a chemical, or maybe that's, whatever, but a lot of that was flawed research, completely flawed.
Why is it flawed?
Well, I don't think they even made a hypothesis. It does not seem like it's an accurate way of going about it. Let's go with the thing about swear words.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
I would say probably a high percentage of swear words are not to raise your aggression level, so, although that does happen. I think that they are created to berate and demean other people.
But what happens though is when, for example, if you stub your toe, right, and you said to demean other people,
right?
When I'm walking along in the winery here, and one of the the big, beautiful oak table
right,
we have all about this place.
Yeah.
If I'm walking along with my smoking vest on and I'm going to the library, the study,
right.
and I happen to stub my toe on, one of the massive pillars on one of the pool tables here, right? And I cuss at it, I'm demeaning that object.
Right, which isn't like, if you're calling it names, obviously it really doesn't care, but you are, working, it's a psychological thing. You're working yourself up as, I am better than this table, or I am better than whomever I'm yelling at the bar, or I am better than you. And that is an aggressive stance.
Yeah.
But that's what the words I think are meaning. I don't think they're meaning to raise your aggression. That is
no. I've read other articles that
I think that your aggression is raised.
Yeah,
and therefore you are you're convincing the other person.
Not everybody cusses when they hurt their toe.
Right.
I do. I cuss if the wind blows the wrong way, but that's beside the point. But another example though. Well, I was saying is I've seen other articles where they say swearing relieves, cursing, swearing relieves stress in some ways. If you just say the.
Well, okay, look at it this way. So here's the frickin' counterpoint then.
Ooh.
Okay, because you.
Ooh, good.
You're
raising your aggression level.
I am raising my aggression level because I've seen and I don't know, maybe we can talk to Stacy Horn about this, but I have seen written articles about I don't even know what they call them, gurus or whatever. I don't know. The ancient Indian people, ancient Hindu people, who could meditate, and then you could stick a fork in their
You're talking
hand.
about the Buddhists and stuff. They used to actually.
Is that what? Okay.
Well, they go into such deep meditation. They would a lot. There's a name for it, but I've read about this.
But
before,
you could.
They give them a question with no answer, essentially, and they tell them to think about that, and they would get into such a deep state of thought that you could they would take a bamboo rod and hit them in the back and they wouldn't feel it.
They wouldn't even know. And so at that particular point when they are in that altered state of consciousness, they are so far away from being aggressive, and yet they feel no pain. And look at the people who do that, like even as a stunt, like in the circus or in a sideshow kind of thing. The people who could do that are on That's Incredible. Remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
There were all kinds of people who were, chopping bricks in half with their hands. They were all, and they pretty much did it all, or piling bricks upon them when they're supposed to be crushed, and they all did it in pretty much a meditative or contemplative state. So that's far beyond aggression, I think.
Well, yeah, And I guess there really isn't an answer.
So these people are trying to tie, the absence of feeling pain to aggression and an outlet.
Well, not the absence of feeling pain, having pain. When you're in pain and you curse, they say it raises your pain threshold a little bit or helps you cope with it a little bit better. I'm not saying I agree with them either.
What if you're in pain and you meditate?
What if you're in pain and you meditate? Some people have. There's people
who've self-hypnosis to themselves and gone through surgery.
Yeah.
So come on, it's
I think in all honesty, I think it really depends on the person. Like I just got done saying a few minutes ago, not everybody curses when they stub their toe. I do, but I'm sure. Well, we were outside and the fly was attacking you.
I was
Doug
really
dropped
mad.
a couple of 4-letter words that I hadn't heard from him in a while.
Fly off, didn't I?
Yeah, I was like,
I told him
I
I'm better
up.
than you.
Like, it's always fun listening to Doug cuss because he never does it normally, and we just.
Oh yeah, well come and bite my leg, and I'll show you. I'll show you a cursing Doug. Dang thing, it came up and bit me 4 times.
Here's another example though.
It won't listen to me.
Well, yes. He don't understand you.
Obviously.
You don't speak bug. We always laugh at my dad because, I told you all about the break. We did my breaks, a couple weeks ago. And I love to work with my dad on stuff like that. Usually.
Yes.
He's hilarious. I love the guy. He's great. But, you get him in a garage and it's like, me, I'm like, I'm afraid I'm going to break it, and all this stuff. And I don't want to hurt. And there's one thing I do not, when it comes to pain, if there's one excruciating thing that I hate the most, it is cracking my knuckles on or blasting my knuckles on something.
Yeah.
And usually you do that when you're working
on a car. Yeah. So
and
try to avoid
it is absolutely the most excruciating, gross pain, in my opinion, you can get. It's all bone.
See, for me, it's an earache.
Oh, yeah, that's horrible, too.
An earache because you can't do anything about it. I just hate it.
But I'll be like, Dad, I can't turn the bolt. He'll get the hell out of the way. Okay. And he just goes, and he does this thing. I mean, he's been doing it for years. I've been watching him do this. Takes the wrench, hits the bolt. Bleep, bleep, flip, flip, floor, flip. And bolt turns. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because I've tried. I've
intimidated.
I've done the same thing. I've grabbed the wrench and put it on an angle. Blip, flip, 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 and don't move. But my dad does it. He's like, I just cuss it at the right way. You don't know how to cuss at a bolt. And I'm like,
he intimidates it.
Yeah, he scares the bolt. He scares the bolt literally to the point where it just wants to roll off wherever and run in fear. So I mean, I don't know. I can't agree either way on this thing. I thought it was a really funny yet interesting article though too. Because I mean, I've been saying it for years. I'm like, cursing, in my opinion, does relieve stress sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I think it relieves stress.
You get it off your chest. You just blow it out of your system, and then you move on to your next thing where you're going to cuss at. So,
but is cursing actually raising your tolerance to pain? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it just helps you deal with it better, or take your mind off.
I really think that's what it comes down to, is it helps you deal with it better.
Or maybe while you're doing it, there's an endorphin. I don't know, but I don't think it's actually like you should be.
Well,
able
how
to,
empowering was it? Okay, for me,
you should be able to scream "Buttercup" and raise your aggression level.
Buttercup.
See, did you feel better?
No, I still feel like crap.
I'll go get that fly and bring him in here.
Yeah, there you go. Let me ask you this really quick. We have to break here in a second. But I have to ask you this. Now, I'm sure you remember when you were younger and you were in elementary school. And I remember, obviously, I do too. And I remember when I first learned how to cuss.
Yeah.
How empowering that was to me.
Well, that was rebellion.
It was rebellion.
Yeah.
And it was taboo, and you weren't supposed to do it. But you were out on the playground going, and you're doing your thing. And to me, it was just empowering.
Yeah.
And it was rebellious, of course. And again, maybe that's part of it too, where you're rebelling against something when you stub your toe on it or you crack your knuckle on it or whatever. You're yelling at that thing, and you're demeaning that thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it helps you cope, I think, all around. That's what I think the bottom line is. I don't know if it raises your aggression levels or whatever they were talking about, but again, coping with those things and just letting the pain go away. Speaking of pain going away, we're going to go to break.
Yay!
You all can rest easy for the next maybe 6 or 7 minutes.
I want you to try and find an article that I can't throw any holes in.
I had 3 more, so maybe I'll save those for next week. But we always, we're going to start. I get a kick out of this because
book an hour. Well, just articles.
Doug's thing is that when you're telling him something that he don't want to hear or he don't like, he does the So that's my cue when I do these articles. That's why you hear me
it's coming.
Here he comes. He's sharpening his claws. He's coming to thrash all of us. We're going to take a break here. This is Ghostly Talk. I'm Scott Al.
And I'm Doug.
We'll be right back with Stacy Horn here in a few minutes.
For more info, visit ghostlytalk.com.